Hello, folks. This is Nathan Chua. Again, this is from Quezon City in the Philippines. I'm a counselor. And this week, I'm going to read to you my latest article, which is kind of a bit different and kind of, in a way, special and kind of, let's say, heartfelt. I'm not saying that my all my some of my recordings are not heartfelt, but this one has a little bit more of a punch to it, so to speak. All right. Okay. So every April of every year, I celebrate another year of working on what I do, which is counseling. And this year is no exception. It's year 14. So I entitled this blog post or video or podcast today as 14 years of Just Call Me Nathan. So for those of you who don't know me, every time I see a client, I always tell them to just call me Nathan. That's how I introduced myself. I don't want them to call me sir or doc or whatever. First of all, I'm not a doctor and I don't have any ambitions of becoming a doctor. Okay. All right. So here we go. 14 years of Just Call Me Nathan. Well, one thing I dislike is titles. I have always been uneasy with titles unless they were used in settings where it is necessary to set limits, respectful, honorific, or when it makes it easier to identify people being referred to. The counseling room has never been a place where I thought titles were necessary. One thing I don't want to impart to any of the people I see is for them to view me as someone who's got it all together somehow. I don't want them to think that I have some kind of panacea that will answer all of life's problems. I love the way one ACT or acceptance and commitment therapy expert put it, and I will paraphrase it here. I often use this metaphor to describe the kind of relationship I will have with my clients. I'm not ahead of them, nor am I on top of them looking down. We are just two people climbing up our own mountains that we face that are facing each other. So it's just two mountains like this, facing each other. My job is to see what's ahead of you as you climb yours and give you signals when I see what's coming your way. Which brings me to the point that I want to make in this article or this video or podcast. What on earth are we doing counseling for? If you have had this question come across your mind before, don't be alarmed. I have asked myself the same question many times before. Through more than a decade's work, I have hypothesized about this. As a healer, I thought my job was to relieve symptoms. As a humanist, I thought it was to find acceptance and purpose. As a psychodynamic counselor, I thought my job was to come to terms with the past. Today, however, as a behaviorist, I have come to see that counseling is about being able to handle our difficult thoughts and feelings in a more effective way. To date, I still find behaviorism to hold the most promise in alleviating human suffering and promoting successful living. Please remember that successful living in this context, it's not about having the most financial success or the happiest existence. Successful living is about helping people live up to their greatest potential. This is not in the service of any temporary exuberant feelings, nor is it about having great wealth, but about having a life that's meaningful to the unique aspirations of every individual. What I find hopeful in behaviorism is the goals that it establishes that are based on scientific evidence. A metaphor that ACT therapists use to describe the process is like learning to speak a new language. If we spend a long enough time using a new language, we will start learning or get used to it and eventually not go back to using our old language. Nonetheless, learning that new language does not mean that we completely forget the old one. In less metaphorical language, it simply means trying out new or different ways of behaving in the face of life's problems. There is an old axe saying among therapists, which goes like, I don't have tricks to change how a client feels, but I have tricks to help a client live the life they want, even with those difficult thoughts and feelings. Here are some examples of how this can be manifested in a life. If you react to a painful experiences by griping and ranting, then maybe try sitting with the pain with compassion and find out why it pains you. Maybe it tells you that you care about something that is life-giving and loving. If you react with painful experiences or to painful experiences in relationships by running away, then maybe try to learn new ways of staying put and communicating more effectively to let the other person know how important they are to you. If you react to painful experiences by distractions like drugs, alcohol, binge watching, or even working, then maybe try to see if you're missing out on the more important goals of relationships you had in mind before the challenges came. I don't know if there's a better science out there. I would like to find out. For now, it's been quite the adventure of a search for what best serves the lives of those I see. If there is one thing that I am slowly losing while learning ACT, it's my ego. Good riddance. I'm just your fellow sojourner, my friend. And that's why I'd appreciate it if you just call me Nathan. Thank you for 14 years. Your shared lives have made mine sweeter and more worthwhile. That's the end of my blog post or my video, the content of my video and my podcast. So I wish you enjoyed having me read this to you or having read my article today or listen to my podcast. Once again, please visit my website, onelifeonly.net, to learn more about what I do and how I can be of service to you. And also, um, like and subscribe. Okay, thank you again for being part of this. Bye for now. See you again next time.